Hello, today I'm answering one of the questions that I got. My workplace is getting so stressful. How do I cope with work and home stress? Changing jobs isn't a viable option. Most of my clients are busy professionals and parents with kids of all ages, from babies to teenagers. And today I'm going to give you a little tip and teach you how to release pressure to create more breathing space and allow your brain to figure out a solution for you while you sleep or busy doing some other things in your life. Does it sound like a great idea? Something you can use? Stay with me in this video, and I will provide some great mind hacks. So coping with both work stress and home stress is very tiring. Realize this, you are coping already. As a busy professional, having a family life and all these responsibilities, you have coping skills. Otherwise, you wouldn't have survived. So the question here is this, really this. How do I feel less stressed and more relaxed? Being more in the flow of life, in the flow, both in my career and in my family life. Where do I find pockets of genuine relaxation throughout my day that allow me to restore my energy and my power? So before we go into that, I give you a very simple solution. I promise it works because it utilizes the function of your brain to always look for the best solution for you. But you've got to know how to give the questions and how to instruct your brain to work for you. So here, before I give you that solution, it's important to understand that brain thinks by default. And one of the defaults is it overgeneralizes everything. So the way you see one thing is the way you see everything. The way you do one thing is the way you do anything. It has to do with the nature of the brain and how it helps us survive, right? So remember, when it comes to stress, you're also overgeneralizing stress. You're using the same default thinking about the stress. So stress is everywhere and there is no breathing space, right? It's like you're living in a cloud of stress. And knowing this default thinking of the brain to overgeneralize everything, here's the mind hack. You're going to make two simple lists. Okay, if you say it's another list, it's a different kind of list, a list that doesn't require you to think about any solutions. So knowledge is power and self-knowledge is triple power. So in my videos, I'm giving you little mind hacks and little insight to understand yourself so you can utilize your natural capacities, your natural faculties as a human being to allow your system, your mind, to come up with the best solutions for you. Okay, so here, let's go back to the two lists that you're going to make to resolve the stresses at work and in life. List number one, make an inventory of your stresses. Start at work. It's the easiest way. You can eliminate most of work stresses by knowing them. And you make a list. Your inventory of stresses is going to look like this: work stresses list. So you will, on one side, you will write an action, something external that happens. On the other side is the reaction, something internal that's triggered because of this action. Say the boss looks at me funny. Here I self-doubt myself, or I feel very sad. Just using the keywords. So you spend a couple of days, or maybe even a week, with one goal in mind. I'm making an inventory of all the stresses. Keep a piece of paper on the side of your table and give it a title, My Inventory of Stresses, and keep going with the list. Once you're done with this list, you're going to make a grocery list of your stresses. Now you're going to choose 5 to 10 stresses from your inventory list. Write them down in your grocery list stressor, and you can even rank them from 0 to 10, how severe the stresses are. Say, if it's very stressful, boss looks at me funny, I give it 10. And if it's not so stressful, give it a 2 or 3 or 4. Okay. Now, what happens in the mind? This is a really cool thing to think about. When you do these 2 things, when you make inventory of stresses and then make it even more concrete into the grocery list of stresses, it makes the reality, the information and the input that goes into the brain in connection to stress makes it more manageable, and it even breaks it into sort of chunks. Yeah. So your brain starts thinking and getting this insight and information that not everything I have to cope with. So we take care of the overgeneralizing default part of the default function of the brain, making things and information more specific and more concrete. And the best thing is that at that stage, you do not need to think about solutions. That's not the point. Solving problem, that's not the point. Your brain is going to do it for you. What's going to happen most probably, and it happens with my client as well, is that when you make the inventory, your brain will go into a solution mode, searching mode, breaking the reality into chunks. Stress, no stress, stress, no stress, providing. And what happens for you is that in the space between the stresses, you're going to have a genuine breathing space, the space where you're restoring your power. And it allows the brain to come up with the innovative, creative solutions, because this is how we halt overgeneralization, right? And brain is really good at sorting, analyzing, searching for solutions. So you have to give it something to analyze, sort out, and eventually grace you with beautiful, simple, elegant solutions that work for you. Okay, so I leave you with this. If you like this kind of content, please let me know. I'll come up with more, and I'm happy to answer any questions which have to do with stress, with burnout. It gives you different insight into how your system works, and you'll be surprised how much potential and how much resourcefulness is hidden within your own nervous system, within your brain capacities, to provide you with better solutions, which can be very simple but very powerful. Right. Thank you. Bye-bye.